right. So welcome to our monthly discussions in conversation with a Buddhist monk. I warmly welcome you all, and I know there's no need to say it again. We are going through a bit of a difficult time altogether. So I just want to let you know, you can directly ask questions from our reverences. And if you could hover around your cursor down in your screen towards the bottom, you can see a chat option there. You can use that option to let me know that you like to ask a question, or you could use raise hand options and all those other signals there to let me know that you like to ask a question from the Theros. And another thing I want to let you know that we will be recording this session. So your images, your voices are being recorded. In any case, if you do not want that to happen, please let us know, because we're going to publish this recording via internet. So just let us know that. So I think we are all set to go. Chandana, would you like to introduce our reverences to the audience?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Shamila. And I would like to warmly welcome Reverend Thiththagalle Anandasiri Thero and Reverend Dehiwala Sunanda Thero on behalf of Nirvana Bliss Collective. Nirvana Bliss Collective is a spiritual dialogue of the seekers of the truth. So this is our spiritual discussion. And we are privileged to have Reverend Thiththagalle Anandasiri Thero, who is a world-renowned spiritual teacher. And he has traveled to many countries. He has been traveling to Australia many times before the lockdown as well. And he has preached and touched many, many people's hearts and provided a lot of wisdomic guidance towards their spiritual practice. And also we have here today with us Dehiwala Sunanda Thero, who is a disciple of Reverend Anandasiri Thero. And in his previous life, he was a renowned lawyer. He is going to translate our discussion to Thero here, Reverend Anandasiri Thero. And Reverend Anandasiri Thero is the chief prelate of the Meditation Center, which is located in the southern province of Sri Lanka. So a warm welcome to everyone on behalf of Nirvana Bliss Collective. And now we are going to start the session. And over to you, Chamila, for the questions. If anyone is interested in asking a question.
What's the concept of death, I suppose? You know, I'm only trying to take off over where he left off maybe a bit. But is there reincarnation there or any form of recycled?
ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි මේ මරණය පිළිබඳව. මරණයේදී නැවත දීවීමක් සිද්ධ වෙනවද? එහෙම නැවත පැමිණීමක් සිද්ධ වෙනවද කියන කාරණා. මේ හැම දිනකටම සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක්. Good evening everyone. ඉතින් මේක ටිකක් සංකීර්ණ උත්තරයක් දෙන්න තියෙනවා. Your question requires a very complex answer. ඉතින් එකපාරටම කෙටියෙන් කිව්වොත් තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් නේ දන්නේ. I don't know. I wonder whether if I give a simple answer, whether you can grasp it.
I'll have a go. I'll have a go.
Now there are a lot of discussions on the internet regarding that. I will tell you something like this. This life is a dream. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, how we perceive this life is from different dimensions, like the width, length, time, and other things. So in the moment of death, what happens? There is a subtle and very rapid shift of this dream. So in the dream that you are going to experience after death is different from the dream that we are perceiving right now. And the dimensions in that particular dream is different from the dimensions that we perceive right here. So it cannot be described using the dimensions that we use here, like time, length, and the width, weight, and all sort of things. Now that is for some set of people, but there can be another one, a special one, who has already awakened. For him, he doesn't have a dream as such. So he will not have another life because that will be the end of his existence. So if someone does have desire existing in him, he will have the process of reincarnation continuously. But if someone does not have desire as such, he will have a reincarnation.
Sorry, it broke up the last bit. Can you say that again? Sorry.
If someone does have desire inside, he will have the process of reincarnation continuously. But if he does not have desire in himself, he will have a reincarnation.
Ah, right. I see. Yeah, it's like it's like secondary school. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah, and I grasp that concept. Yeah, I understand that. And what happens then to the person who doesn't need that then?
Need what, Jones?
The second person. He doesn't go into the other dream.
What happens to the awakened one after his death? I will give an example for that. You might have seen a flame, maybe in a lighter or maybe in a match. When the flames goes out, what happens to the flame? Does it go somewhere or does it hang around? What happens to it? Can you say it is not there? Or can you say it is somewhere? So that is the nature of an enlightened being. If we say he is there, that is also wrong. If we say he is not there, that will be also wrong. So it can be expressed by word. That is why I use that example of a flame.
Does that mean we don't really know then?
We really don't know.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yes, actually, from the data we process and from the data that we have in our memory, imagine, we cannot create an imagination about his existence. It is something beyond creation. It does not belong to the creation.
Right, okay, right, okay. Right. So it belongs to itself?
It belongs to that eternal truth. I will show you a nature as such. Don't answer to that. Just check what you feel at that particular moment. Can you tell me the name of one of your best friends? Can you tell me a name?
Oh, sorry. I thought you didn't want me to answer. Sorry. Adrian.
Adrian.
Oh. Adrian.
Yeah. Adrian. Okay. Is he alive?
Yes.
දැන් අපි මේ මොහොත ගැනයි ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නේ. ඔබගේ මේ මොහොතට කලින් තොරතුරු ගැන නෙමෙයි. ඊට පස්සේ ඉස්සරහ දේවල් ගැන නෙමෙයි. ඔබ හරියට වර්තමාන මොහොතේ තමයි උත්තර දෙන්න ඕනේ.
So you have to give the answer to my next question. Concerning this present moment, not about the past or not about the future.
ඔබගේ පෙර මතකයන් සම්බන්ධ කරගන්න බෑ.
So then you cannot connect your previous memories to your current answer.
ඔබට වර්තමානයේ දැනෙන දේ තමයි ඔබ කියන්නේ.
You have to express what you feel at this moment.
ඔබ මොහොතේදී ජීවිතුන් අතර ඉන්නවද?
So now I'm going to ask you the question. At this moment, is Adrian alive?
Well, last time I saw him, but yeah, but, I'm not there at the moment.
Yeah, in this particular moment, you cannot say exactly that he is there or he is not there.
Correct.
You feel something, but you don't have words to express it. It is the final existence of a person who has no desire is similar to the feeling that you have in such moments. So the language is primitive and it has no effect to answer certain questions. It is something that you have to experience. It is something that you just felt.
Right. I do understand that concept. Yeah, I do. Yeah. It's a bit like best friends you've had that's passed away. You know they passed away, but you still feel the concept. You know.
ඒකනේ හරියට ඔබට හිටපු හොඳම යාළුවෙක් මේ වෙලාවේ මැරිලා ඉන්න හොඳම යාළුවෙක් වගේ. ඔබට ඒ සංකල්පය පවතින.
ඇත්තට මෙතන සංකල්පයක් පවතුනොත් වැරදි.
But no, if there is a concept as such, then it's wrong.
අපිට යාළුවා ඉන්නවයි කියනවා නම් එතන සංකල්ප ගොඩක් නිර්මාණය කරගන්න පුළුවන්.
Because if we possess the idea that your friend exists, then you can create many concepts based on that ideology.
ඒ වගේම යාළුවා කියලා තීරණය කරත් සංකල්ප නිර්මාණය කරන්න පුළුවන්.
And if you possess the ideology that your friend does not exist, based on that ideology also you can develop many concepts.
ඔය දෙපැත්තම ගන්න බැරි වුණොත් ඔබේ අවස්ථාවක මොකද වෙන්නේ?
But if there is a moment where you cannot take either of those,
then
what will happen to your mind?
Nothing. Well, which is most of the time anyway. Which is most of the time anyway.
හැමතැනම ඉන්නවා කියන්න පුළුවන්. හැම දෙයකම. ඒක වචන වලින් විස්තර කරන්න බැ සියල්ල පවතිනවා.
You can say that he is everywhere, in everything. There is no word to express about that existence.
ඒ වගේම තව කාට හරි නැහැ කියන්නත් පුළුවන්.
And someone also can say he does not exist.
ඒ කොච්චර කිව්වත් ඒක වලින් explain කරන්න බෑ.
So whatever the term, whatever the sentence that you were to describe, you cannot describe the exact thing by word.
So it's pretty close to a good example of recycled then, isn't it? When you think of it.
එතකොට එය අර බෞද්ධ චින්තනය වන අර නැවත නැවත හට ගැනීමට ගොඩාක් ආසන්න.
ඔය බෞද්ධ චින්තනයේ අතරම නැවත නැවත හට ගැනීම ගැන නෙවෙයි කියන්නේ. ඒක බෞද්ධ ඒක අදහසක් විතරයි. බෞද්ධ චින්තනයේ හැමතිස්සෙම මිනිස්සෙගේ මනස ඒ පරම සත්‍ය වෙතට අවදි කරවන්නේ. ගෙනියන එක තමයි විස්තර කරන්නේ.
So the Buddhist philosophy, actually that process of recycling is just a part of the Buddhist philosophy. But actually it focused to take a mind to that status where it has freed from everything, from every concept. So but the important question that you had to raise is not that.
අපි කොහොමද අපේ මනස ඒ ස්වභාවයට පත් කරගන්නේ කොහොමද අපි උතුම් අවබෝධය ලබා ගන්නේ ඒතර අපි මොකක්ද ඒකට කරන්න ඕනේ
How do we achieve that particular nature of mind? How do we understand that universal truth, and what should we do in that process?
මොකද අපි ඒ අවසානය ගැන කොච්චර කතා කරත් වැඩක් නැහැ වචන වලින් තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ. නමුත් අපි අපිට අපේ මනස අවබෝධ කර ගැනීම තුළින් මනස තේරුම් ගැනීම තුළින් මනස තව සියුම් ලෙස විශ්ලේෂණය කර ගැනීම තුළින් අපේ මනස ඒ නිවීම කරා ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන්.
Because there's no point of discussing more for lengthy hours about that end result, because we won't be able to describe that very nature by using any word in any language. So if we can understand the mechanism of the mind, if we can see the secrets of the mind, and if we can go into better understanding of this existence, then we can gradually become that nature.
දැන් උදාහරණයක් කියනවා.
If I give an example,
ඔබ තරුණ කාලේ කියලා හිතන්න.
let's take your younger days when you were a youth.
ඔබ යා හොටෙල් එකක රස්සාවකට.
Let's say you go to a hotel for a job.
එතකොට ඔබ ගිහිල්ලා අයිතිකාරයෙන් අහනවා මේකේ පඩි ලැබෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා.
So then you're questioning the owner of the hotel, how do I get my salary?
එතකොට ඒ වගේම ඔබ අහනවා ඔබට කොච්චර ආදායමක් ලැබෙනවද?
Then you're questioning the income of the owner.
එතකොට ඔබට මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ?
Then what will happen to you?
ඔබට ජොබ් එක හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
You will never get that job.
එතකොට ඔබ ගිහිල්ලා ඔබේ පඩිය හම්බ වෙන කමක් නැහැ. ඔබට කරන්න තියෙන වැඩ ටික අහගෙන ඒ ඔබ කාලයක් ඒ තුල රැඳෙන සිටියොත් ඔබටම තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද ඒ අයිතිකාරයා එච්චර මුදලක් ලබා ගන්නේ කියලා.
So it is okay to question him about your salary and what you have to do as the job tasks in that particular venture. Do not question about the income of the owner. If you stay there, if you do your job, and if you get your salary for some time, if you stay there for some time, then you will come to that understanding about the income of the owner.
ඒක උදාහරණයක්.
That is an example.
Thank you. Yeah, I do understand that. Yeah, thank you.
Sunanda Thero, I have a question from Samantha in the chat actually. Can I read it out?
Yes. Okay.
So Samantha asks, this is a time of highly mixed emotions. The Buddha talked about the parable of the second arrow. How can we better accept our emotions in the moment so we do not suffer from the pain of the second arrow?
බුදුදහමේ මේ වෙලාව ගොඩාක් හැඟීම් එක්ක මිනිස්සු පොරබදන අවස්ථාවක්. එතකොට බුදුදහමේ සඳහන් වෙලා යනවා මිනිස්සු අර දෙපාරකින් උල් පාර දෙකක් කනවා කියලා. කියන්නේ ඒ දෙවනි පාර වෙන්නේ අපි ඒ ගැන තියෙන චින්තනමය වේදනාව. අපි කොහොමද මේ ජීවිතේ මේ මොහොතේ ඒ දෙවනි ඊපාරින් වේදනා නොවිඳ ගත කරන්නේ.
ඒක නිසා තමයි මේ සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේ.
For that is the very reason we are having this discussion.
ඒ දෙවනි උල් පහරෙන් ගැලවෙන්න.
To escape from that second arrow.
මම ඒ කතා පොඩ විස්තර කරන්න යා කිව්වක මේ බුදුදහමේ තියෙන ඒක මේ හැමෝටම දැනගන්න.
I will just describe the story that she referred to, which is stated in Buddhism.
බුදුදහමේ වේදනාව විස්තර කරනකොට මේ මානසික වේදනාව හා ශාරීරික වේදනාව කියලා දෙකක් විස්තර කරනවා.
Now when the pain is being described in Buddhist philosophy, it has two components within the philosophy. The first one is the physical pain, and the second one is the mental.
දැන් බුදුදහමේ හැමෝටම මේ භෞතික ඇති වෙන ශාරීරික වේදනාවකට ඒකට ඒ කාලේ ඉන්න වෛද්‍යවරු ගුණ ගැහිලා ඒකට ප්‍රතිකාර ලබා ගැනීම තමයි අනුමත කරන්නේ.
So even Buddhism prescribed meeting a physician in order to recover from any physical pain.
හැබැයි මානසික වේදනාව අතර දෙනවා බුදුහාමුදුරේ ඒක කොහොමද නිවා ගන්න කියලා.
But Buddha always answered, and he was ready to answer how to overcome that mental component of the pain.
ඒ නිසා මේ ලෝකයේ මිනිස්සුන්ට මානසික වේදනාව එන්නේ යම් තැනකට බැඳුනහම මනස ගැන අවබෝධයක් නැති වුනහම ඒ තුලින් විශාල මානසික පීඩා ප්‍රමාණයක් නිර්මාණය වෙනවා.
When someone get attached to something by the mind, and when he does not have a proper understanding about the mind, it will create a lot of trauma, a lot of stress inside his mind.
අපි යම්කට කැමති වුණාම ඒ කැමති දේ ආරක්ෂා කරගන්න එක තියාගන්න මානසික අරගලයක් කරගන්න ඕන. අපි කියමු අපි තැනකට යනවා අපි එතන අපේ යහළුවන් ඉන්නවා එතන අපේ හතුරන් ඉන්නවා. යහළුවන් ආරක්ෂා කරන්නත් හතුරන් පළවා හරින්නත් අපි අරගලයක එකතු වෙනවා.
Now let's say somewhere where we find our friends and foes both. In that particular environment, we try to protect our friends and we try to repel our foes, our enemies. So in that case, we have to go through a huge struggle in order to do that both tasks, protecting and repelling.
එතකොට අපි යහළුවන් වුණාම ඒගොල්ලෝ ආරක්ෂා කරගන්න ඕනේ, ඒක කන්ටිනියු කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකත් මානසික ලොකු වෙහසක්.
Now when we take our friends, we have to protect them and we should try to continue that relationship without getting tarnished. It gives a lot of exhaustion to our mind.
දැන් ඒකේ අපේ සතුරන් වුණාම ඔවුන් දකින්න විට, ඔවුන් අපි දිහා බලන විට, ඔවුන් ගැන අපිට හිතෙන විට එතනින් මානසික පීඩාව නිර්මාණය වෙනවා.
When we consider our enemies, when we see them, or when we recall a memory of an enemy, it will give a lot of pain to our mind.
ඒ නිසා මිනිස්සෙක් එහෙම වෙන්නේ ආගේ ආත්ම ශක්තිය දුර්වල නිසා, මදි නිසා.
So that happens because they don't have enough self-confidence.
ඒතකොට යාගේ ඒ යහළුවන් ගැනත් සතුරන් ගැනත් ඒ ඔළුවේ දීපු වටිනාකම අයින් කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඒ යහළුවනුත් උහුට නැති වෙනවා, සතුරනුත් නැති වෙනවා. ඒ අවස්ථාවට උහු ජීවත් වෙනවා එච්චරයි.
So if he can get rid of the values given to the friends and his enemies by his mind, then he will live by the moment. That's it.
ඒ වගේම දැන් ඒක මම මෙහෙම කිව්වට කෙනෙක් එක තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ කොහොමද ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් වෙන්නේ කියලා. හැබැයි මේ වගේ පොඩි වෙලාවකදී ඒක විස්තර කරන්න බෑ. නමුත් අපි දේශනාවල ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් මේ පරිවර්තන කළා ගොඩාක් විස්තර කරලා තියෙනවා ඒක කොහොමද ප්‍රැක්ටිකලිව කරගන්නේ.
But I know, though I say it like that in very simple terms, it is very difficult to someone to practically get into that nature. And also, I know that it is very difficult to explain it in depth in a very short period, like this short discussion. But we have done many sermons and which are available on YouTube for freely, where you can refer and understand the message that we are spreading.
ඔයගොල්ලෝ තාම ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න වෙලාව ඉතුරු වුණොත් මම අන්තිමට මේක ඒක ටිකක් විස්තර කරලා දෙන්න.
So I prefer if you ask more questions, and if we have time left at the end of this session, I will explain it a little bit further.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Joel, you can go ahead.
Fine. I was reading a piece of research the other night that talked about the relationship between neuroses and high intelligence. And in this research, can you hear me now or not? Am I still in trouble?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right.
What is the word that you said? Higher intelligence.
High intelligence.
Okay.
In the brain power. Right?
Uh-huh.
People with superior intelligence, and that's the word, right?
Right.
If I said IQ, does that help? Right?
Yes.
People with high IQs tend to be more neurotic and more at the whim of their emotions than people with low IQs, which rather stunned me. Maybe it's a parabolic relationship. But the thing that struck me when I was reading it was, well, if that's the case, from a Buddhist perspective, what is the relationship between intelligence, enlightenment, and wisdom?
මම මේ කියපු අධ්‍යයන වාර්තාවක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඒ සඳහන් වෙලා තිබුණා මිනිස් high IQ එකක් තියෙන උසස් බුද්ධියක් තියෙන මිනිස්සු මානසිකව ඒ තියෙන චලනවන් වලට ගොඩක් සංවේදී වෙනවා. එතකොට මේ මොකක්ද මේ බුද්ධ ධර්මයේ තියෙන විස්තර කරන්නේ කොහොමද බුද්ධියයි ප්‍රඥාවයි අවබෝධයයි පිළිබඳ. මොකක්ද මේ තුන අතර තියෙන සම්බන්ධය?
දැන් බුද්ධිය කියලා ගන්න අපි ලෝකයෙන් වහ ගන්න දැනුම දත්ත එක එක විෂයන් පිළිබඳව අපිට තියෙන දැනුම වැඩි නම් ඔහු බුද්ධිමතෙක් කියලා අපි සලකනවා.
Now, what do you mean by intelligence? That is the data, the amount of data that we process and the amount of data that we have downloaded from avenues.
ඊළඟට ලබාගත් දැනුම උඩ කොච්චර හොඳට අනිත් අයත් එක්ක භාවිතා කරගන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඔයගේ කොච්චර වැඩ ගන්නවද කියන එක මත ඔගේ බුද්ධිමත් බව තාතීරණය වෙනවා.
That's true, because high intelligence people.
One moment, please. If someone can express his ideas correctly, dealing with the data processed by his mind, we call him an intelligent being.
ප්‍රඥාව කියන්නේ බුද්ධියත් එක්ක බුද්ධියට එහා ගිය දෙයක්. ඒක මනුස්සයෙකුගේ ජීවිතයේ අත්දැකීම් වලදී ජීවිතේ විඳින හැටි, විඳවන්න හැටි, ඒ නිදහස් වෙන හැටි අත්දැකීමක් වශයෙන් ලබා ගැනීම තමයි ප්‍රඥාව.
Wisdom is something beyond that intelligence. It is something which comes with the experiences in our life, where we, through our experiences, we get an idea about the pleasure of life and also the pain of life. And with the understanding of both pain and pleasure by experience, we seek for a relief. We seek for liberation. That is wisdom. Then I will tell you about enlightenment. Now I have a tissue in my hand. Now, what are the components? What are the materials used to make this tissue? And the nature of this tissue, and how it has been manufactured, all the data that we process about that, those questions is one's intelligence. Now let's assume this is an apple. Now somebody is consuming it. Then he feels the taste. He knows how his mind gets attached to that taste. He understands the pleasure that the mind feels with that taste. And he understands the way of liberation from that. That is the wisdom of that person. So enlightenment is something like this. You write a letter and you read it and then you burn it.
එතකොට ඒකේ නමුත් ඒක ගිනි අරගෙන ඉවර වුණත් ඔබට ඒකේ තියෙන තොරතුරු ඒ හැම දෙයක්ම වෙන විදිය පිළිබඳව ඥානයක් තියෙනවා.
Even after that you have burned that information in that piece of paper, you have all the knowledge, you have all the understanding about that writing in you.
අවබෝධය වගේ දෙයක්.
Enlightenment is something like that.
ඒක ප්‍රඥාවටත් එහාට යනවා.
It is something beyond wisdom.
Yep. I think
there is nothing. You have liberated from everything, but you have the understanding about everything.
That's enlightenment.
Yes.
I'll search for it.
Don't search.
So how do I find it?
You have to find it by not searching it.
Right. So does that mean it comes with age?
Sorry?
Does it come with age or experience, just experience?
ඒක වයසට වඩා වයසට බලපානවා. නමුත් අත්දැකීම් ගොඩක්ම බලපානවා. ගොඩක් මිනිසුන්ගේ අත්දැකීම් තමයි එයාව අවබෝධය කරා අරගෙන යන්නේ.
More than the age also matters, but with more than that, your experience matters a lot. Your experiences will take you to that. If I give an example, you might have mastered about the ocean. You might have a lot of information about the weather. You might have a lot of knowledge about ships. But when you're in a voyage in the sea, if you cannot swim, there is a high tendency that you can be helpless. So informations are valuable to you, but experience that you have about swimming is the most important thing to save your life in a sea voyage. Because if your ship sinks, all the knowledge won't help you to rescue your life, but the experience and the ability of your swimming will make you survive.
experience වලට ජීවිතේ වටිනවයි කියලා කියනවා.
So I always admire experiences of one person than the knowledge that he possesses.
So the knowledge can be gained by simply reading a book. The skill of living is obtained by living, right? Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying, isn't it? And that's where enlightenment comes from.
එතකොට අපි දැනුම කියන එක අපිට පොතක් කියවලා හරි ගන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් අපි ජීවත් වෙනකොට අපිට අත්දැකීම් එකතු වෙන්නේ. ඒක තමයි ඔබ අදහස් කරන්නේ.
ඔව් අනිවාර්යයෙන්. තමන්ට අත්දැකීම් විමුක්තියට ළඟයි.
Your experiences are closer to liberation.
Did you hear all that? I hope all the younger people are listening in this.
මේක ගොඩක් මහඟින් තරණ අයට උදව්වක්.
ඔව් ඒ නිසා මම කියන්නේ මිනිස්සෙක් විමුක්තියටපත් වෙනවා නම් අත්දැකීම් එක්ක ජීවත් වෙනවා. අත්දැකීම් විශ්ලේෂණය කරගන්න. ඒක තුළ ඔබට පාරක් වෙනවා.
Yes, that's why I always say, if somebody seek for liberation, analyze the experiences in your life, because that analysis of your experience will pave the way for your enlightenment.
Yeah. You know, I have a lot of knowledge about emotions, but it doesn't help me control them. It doesn't help me deal with them. I have, all I have is knowledge about theories about how and why they work, but it doesn't help you control them. And I think that's where the point comes in, isn't it? That you have the knowledge, but you've also got to have the life skills. So,
මොකද මට මේ හැඟීම් පිළිබඳ ලොකු දැනුම සම්භාරයක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් මට මගේ හැඟීම් ඒ දැනුම තිබුණා කියලා පාලනය කරගන්න බෑ. ඒක තමයි ඔබ අදහස් කරන්නේ.
ඔව් හරි මම කියන්නේ ඒක තමයි.
You have given me some wisdom and enlightenment.
Yes, that is what we also say.
ඒ වගේ අපේ මරණය කියන්නේ දැනුමක් නෙවෙයි. ඒක අපිට ලැබෙන අත්දැකීමක්.
And also what I say that death is not a knowledge, it is an experience.
ඒ නිසා ඉන්න කෙනාට ඒකත් එච්චර ගානක් නැහැ.
So if somebody lives with his or her own experiences, death won't be a matter.
Well, I got 2 other people in the queue. Can I come back to you?
Did you
Two other questioners. Yes.
Yes, you know, you can come back to me. I'm happy. I enjoyed that. That was interesting.
Yeah. So, Kanishka, you can ask your question now. While Kanishka can get ready, I'd like to ask Vinaya to ask your question, please.
Okay. Oh, hello there. Yes, absolutely lovely that you're with us today and listening to your wonderful wisdom. I have a question around being able to conquer. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, I need your help with how does one conquer anger, especially when someone very close to you has done tremendous harm, like infidelity, like child abduction, like wanting money and showing utmost cruelty after you think you know this person for 18 years, right? So how does one go from anger to acceptance to forgiveness if there is such a thing?
මට ඔබෙන් දැනගන්න ඕනේ කොහොමද අපි මේ කේන්තිය කියන එක සමනය කරගන්නේ විශේෂයෙන්ම අවුරුදු 18ක් තිස්සේ අපි විශ්වාස කරපු කෙනෙක් ඔබට විශාල කරදර කරලා තියෙනවා මානසිකව තමන්ගේ මගේ දරුවා පැහැරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා මගේ මුදල් ඉල්ලනවා මට ශාල වංචාවක් කරලා තියෙනවා මේ වගේ මොහොතක කොහොමද මම කේන්තිය කියන එක සමනය කරගන්නේ?
දෙපැත්තක් තියෙනවා.
There are 2 sides to that.
ඔබගේ දරුවා එහෙම පැහැරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා නම් ඒ රටේ නීතියනවා කරේතු වැඩ කටයුතු ටික ඔබ කරගන්න.
Now if there are certain things regarding that you said about a child abduction, there may be a legal process that you have to call for and you have to deal with that in one aspect. Maybe you might have already started that. Then I will answer about your mind. Now always our mind will be triggered when something goes against our expectation. And also the misunderstandings that we have about the nature about our surrounding, about our environment. Now, I would say that this world is so uncertain. But we have an idea about certainty. Now, even tomorrow, someone can just kill me or someone can imprison me. But if we have a certain idea that some sort of such thing would happen to me, it can trigger my mind. This entire earth is in a great uncertainty. Now, under this earth, on the top soil, you find groundwater. So if the groundwater shakes, it can shake the top layer. So in such a moment, all the plans that we have, all the expectations that we have about life will destroy in a second. But if we have a proper understanding about that uncertainty, with any occurrence in our life, we won't get triggered much, because we do have that the idea that everything can change in a moment. Now take this nature. Now 6 months before, no one of us had that idea that the economy will fall like this, that people had to be in a situation of a lockdown. We didn't have that idea 6 months before. But everyone is now going through that. But it's not a problem to me, and it was not a problem who was with this dharma, because they know that that is the nature. They have lost their jobs, they could not be able to pay their debts, and they were under a lot of difficulties, but they were not upset much, because that is the nature. The uncertainty is the nature. Now, just before this program, I received a call from someone from Sri Lanka. That boy is about 26 years old. Now, his wife was admitted for the delivery of their first child to the hospital week before, and day after, when he paid a visit to the hospital, his wife and that unborn child both have died. But the imagination that he had about his life, he never dreamt of a picture about such thing. The pictures he had was always with his wife and with his unborn child, where they live together, where they laugh together, where they eat together, where they exist together. He had a great certainty about the creation of his mind, about his life in future with his family. That very certainty that he possessed by his mind is the reason for the trigger of his mind at this moment. Now everyone has a right to dream, but if they get into a thorough belief that all the dreams will come true, then there is a possibility that his mind will be stressed out.
ඉතින් ඔබේ හීන වලට බැලලා තියෙන නිසා ඔබේ සිත් එකපාරට තේරුම් ගන්න අවබෝධ කරගන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. ඔබේ හිතේ ස්ට්‍රෙස් එක එනවා.
Now, if we take your condition, this may be not in your dream ever. You might never had a dream about a life like this, a situation like this. But you had a preoccupied dream of otherwise, something different. Since you were too much attached to that dream, it will give you more pain in a situation like this. Now you have learned a good lesson in your life. Now you can try to sort out all your family problems in a better way. But hereafter, do not expect anything, because whatever you dream of may happen otherwise in real life. Understand that properly. Now in this world which is uncertain, it will never last according to our wish of certainty.
මම ජීවත් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් මම මැරෙන්නත් පුළුවන් මම ජීවත් වෙන්න ආස කරොත් මගේ මරණය මට ඛේදවාචකයි.
Now in next moment I can either die or I can either live. If I prefer living more than death, if I get attached to my life more than death, the death will be a problem to me.
ඒ නිසා මම ජීවත් වීම පිළිබඳව ඒ අදහසට දැඩිව බැඳෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා මට මරණය ඛේදවාචකයක් වෙන්නේ.
So I do not get much attached to the ideology of living. So death won't be a problem to me.
හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න මම ඔබට කියන්නේ සිහින දකින්න එපා කියලා නෙමෙයි සිහින දකින්න ඒවට බැඳෙනකොට ඒ ගැන අවබෝධයක් ලබා ගන්න.
But now you have to understand me carefully. I do not propose to you to not to dream. You have your right to dream, but do not get attached to those dreams much.
මම ඔබට තව ලස්සන උපමාවක් කියන්නම්.
I will give you another good example.
ඔබ දන්නවා අපි පුංචි කාලේ පොඩි කාලේ මුහුදු වරණට ගියාම එක එක මාලිගා හදනවා අපි ලස්සන මිනිස්සු හදනවා නිර්මාණ කරනවා වෙරළේ.
Now as kids, when we go to the beach, we make sand castles. We make different images using the sand in the seashore.
ඒවා ඉතාමත් මහන්සියලා ඉතාමත් සතුටින් අපි ඒව කරනවා.
We give lot of effort, lot of attention to it to make those creations as kids.
හැබැයි ඊට පස්සේ රැල්ල ඇවිල්ලා ඒ සියල්ල අතුරුදහන් කරනවා.
Then a wave will come and wash all those things and all those creations will vanish.
අපි කවදාවත් අඬන්නේ නැහැ.
But we never cry.
අපි නැවත මාලිගා නිර්මාණය කරනවා.
We do create another castle.
නැවත රැල්ලයි ලේදේම සිද්ධ වෙනවා.
Then another wave will come and the same thing will happen.
මම කියන්නේ මේ ජීවිතේ මුහුදු වෙරළක හදන මාලිගාවක් කියලා.
So what I say is our life is also a sand castle created on a seashore.
මත් ඒ නිසා අපි අතෙන්දී අපි දන්නවා කලින්ම රැල්ලාව මේ ඉවරයි කියලා. නමුත් අපි ජීවිතේදී දන්නේ නැහැ මේ ස්වභාව දහම රැල්ලාව අපේ සිහින ඉවරයි කියලා.
But when we are at the beach, we know that the next wave can wash away all our creations on the seashore. But when we live, we forget that. We do not have the understanding that the next wave can ruin everything.
අපිට මොහොතේ වෙරළදී ප්‍රඥාව තුරට මම කියන්නේ ජීවිතේදී ප්‍රඥාව නැහැ ඒක.
What I say is that we have enough wisdom at the seashore. In our life, we do not have enough wisdom to understand.
නැත්නම් ඒ මාලිගා කැටලේ යනකොට අපුඩි ගහනවා වගේ මේ මාලිගා කැටලේ යනකොට අපුඩි ගහන්න පුළුවන්.
Or else, as we were happy and we clapped when our sandcastle was washed away by the seashore, we should be able to clap and laugh and smile in the things that happens which destroys our life.
ඔබේ හිත ඕනතරම් මාලිගා හදාවි. ස්වභාව දහම නැමැති රැල්ලවිලා ඒවා විනාශ කරලා දවාවි. එතකොට අපුඩි ගහන්න.
So your mind will create lot of castles, but the nature will bring a wave to wash away all those creations. When that happens, clap.
ඔබේ යථාර්ථය පිළිගත්ත දාට ඒ අවබෝධ කරගත්ත දාට ඔබට කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි.
When you accept that reality, when you understand that reality, whatever happens in your life won't be a problem to you. I believe that you would be able to do that. But do not rush to be in that. It will happen gradually. Believe my words.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate.
You're welcome.
Kanishkar, it's your turn now.
So I have a question about sense restraint, Indri Sangha. Sometimes when we start Dhamma practice, we can be a bit too much in a hurry and like a bit too serious sometimes. I have that problem personally. So sometimes you try to be, I mean, living in the lay life, you try to be too strict, like not have too much sensual pleasure. And if you make a mistake, then you know you sort of what do you call, blame yourself about it too much, and you know, because you try to live according to Dhamma. Even I remember there was one experience when I was meditating. I do Chitta Anupassana most of the time. Almost, but not knowing that I was doing it, because in Chittanupassana, you're not supposed to get involved with the feelings, but I was unknowingly getting involved and pushing away the unpleasant feelings and sort of entertaining the wholesome ones. And after a while, I had so much tension that I had to actually stop the meditation. And then I was lost, like, what am I going to do? And the only thing I found that worked was metta. I did a bit of metta meditation because I was hurting myself at that moment. So when I used metta, I sort of understood that, look, I need to be patient with my progress, and sometimes I'll do mistake even during meditation. And in that way, I sort of could restrain my senses gently instead of being forceful. So this is the way I know to restrain my senses. In general life as well, I use metta. What do you have to say about that, Bhante, or is there any other suggestions that you can give me about sense restraint? Thank you.
මම ධර්ම මාර්ගයේ යන කෙනෙක් විදිහට මට තේරෙනවා සමහරලාට මම යන වේගය වැඩි කියලා. ඒ වේගය වැඩි කියලා තේරෙන්නේ මට සමහරලාට මගේ අතින් පොඩි අතපසු වීමක් වුණාමත් මම පසුතැවිල්ලට ලක් වෙනවා. මම මේ ධර්මයේ වඩන කෙනෙක් ඇයි මගේ අතින් මේ දේවල් සිද්ධ වුනේ කියලා. එතකොට මම දැන් මම විපස්සනා භාවනාවේ දෙනවා. විපස්සනා භාවනාවේ දෙනකොට මම දන්නවා අපි මතුවෙන හැඟීම් එක්ක අපි සම්බන්ධ වෙ යුතු නැහැ, ඉන්වෝල්ව් විය යුතු නැහැ කියලා. ඒවා හා බැඳිය යුතු නැහැ කියලා. නමුත් මටම තේරෙනවා ඊට පස්සේ මම සමහර හැඟීම් මගේ මනසින් ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවා. ඒ ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනකොට ඒව ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරගන්න බැරි වෙනකොට මාව පීඩණයට ලක් වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මට හරිම අමාරු වුණා විපස්සනා වඩන්න. ඊට පස්සේ මම මොකද කරේ? මේ පීඩණය දරා ගන්නත් එක්කම මෛත්‍රී භාවනාව කරන්න ගත්තා. මේ මෛත්‍රී භාවනාව කරගෙන තමයි මම දැන් යන්නේ මේ තියෙන පීඩණය ටික ටික සමනය කරගන්න. ඔබ මොකක්ද හිතන්නේ මට දෙන්න පුළුවන් උපදෙස් මොකක්ද?
මම කියන්නේ ඔබ ආධ්‍යාත්මික මාර්ගය කියලා තව ලෞකික මාර්ගයක් අඩනවා කියනවා.
What I say is that thinking that going through a spiritual path, I say you are still going on a worldly path.
මොකද ලෞකික මාර්ගය කරන්න දේවල් තියෙනවා. ආධ්‍යාත්මික මාර්ගය කරන්න දේවල් නැහැ. ඒක තේරුම් ගන්න විතරයි.
Because if there is something to be done, you find those kind of things only in a worldly path. But in a spiritual path, there is nothing to be done. I can remember that you questioned me about Maitri meditation, Metta meditation. Then I explained you about Vipassana and Samatha. If acceptance and rejection by mind is a habit of yours, don't try to get out from that habit. Try to analyze what happens when you do that habitually in your mind. That your habit of acceptance and rejection, in that particular moment, analyze the nature of your mind. Now, if you repel something from your mind, if you develop pressure, you live with that pressure. Analyze it by living with it. When you accept certain emotions by your mind and when you feel happy about it, be with that happiness. Analyze it. Because if your mind is in the habit of acceptance and rejection, by just switching your meditation into metta meditation, it will not make you enlightened. Because you're doing something in one moment, in the next moment you do another thing. Your mind will work by switching different concepts. Now, when you do metta meditation, your mind hides inside. When the metta meditation is not there, it comes out. Now, let's take a snake. Now, if a snake feels that it has been observed by somebody, it will always try to crawl into a den or something. So the thing that I propose to you is this. So let the snake to crawl freely. Give it the liberty to show its very nature. When time permits, when you have time, just have a small observation. So then after some time, you will have the proper understanding in which moment the snake will hiss, in which moment it will come to have a sunbath, and which moment it will go back to its house. You will have all those understandings. It is just that you are trying to understand about the snake. Don't try to deal with it. So then after some time, you will have an idea about the activity of the snake. So I take that example to your mind. So when you deal with the mind, do not give a lot of focus to it. You do with your regular day-to-day work, with your job, with your education, with your entertainments. Be with those activities. එහෙම නැතුව ඔබ කෙලින්ම ධර්ම මාර්ගයට බැස්ස කියලා අරවත් එක්ක මිදුනහම ඔබට හිත ආબોධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔබේ ජීවිතේ කඩාගෙන වැටෙනවා. නෙගටිව් වෙනවා. ඔබට ජීවිතේ එපා වෙනවා. සමහරවිට සියදු විහාරික කරනවා. Because if you give up all those activities and just think by your mind that you are totally involved in your spiritual path, it won't help you. Your mind will go into negativity. Your life will fall. Your mind will collapse. ඔබේ මනසට නිදහසය විශාල අරගලයක් බලහත්කාරකමක් කරලා අරගෙන ඉන්න බෑ. ඒ නිදහස අරගෙන ඉන්නේ නිදහසට ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබේ මනසටවත් නොදැනෙන විදියට. You cannot reach liberation of your mind by abusing it, by pressuring it. You will reach liberation in a way that even the mind will not know that it has been liberated. මම දැන් ඔබට දෙන උපදේශය තමයි ඔබ ආධ්‍යාත්මික ගවේෂණය අතහැරලා. So the advice to you from me is that give up your spiritual practice. Be involved in the other tasks that you're supposed to do in your age. Then the spiritual path will reach you. That is vipassana.
Thank you, Bhante. Actually, that helped me. I understood what you're trying to say to some extent. Actually, last time when I was asking about Maitri Bhavana, it's only a few months ago that I started doing Maitri Bhavana because of the strain. Before that, I was actually doing Chittanupassana. But obviously, I had maybe I was being too strict and too serious, as you were saying. So I'll relax a bit and observe the mind, as you're saying, whenever I can, and just take it easy. Thank you.
මට මේ මනස තිබුණ පීඩන නිසා තමයි අර මෛත්‍රී භාවනාවට මම යමු උනේ. මම ඊට කලින් කරේ චිත්තානුපස්සනාව. මම දැන් ඔබ කිව්වා විදිහට මම රිලැක්ස් කරන්න පටන් ගන්නවා. මම පුළුවන් වෙලාවට මනස දිහා බලන්න. දැන් ඔබට කලින් කෙනෙක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහුවනේ. Now there was a questioner before you. එයාගේ ජීවිත අත්දැකීමක් ඔස්සේ අහුවා. He asked a question with of one of his own experience.
එයා ළඟයි විමුක්තියට මොකද experience එකත් එක්ක යන්නේ.
He is closer to liberation because he goes through that path with his experience.
ඔහුට වේදනාව දැනෙනවා. ඔහු අරගල ගන්නවා. ඔහුට තරහ යනවා. ඔහු ස්ට්‍රෙස් වෙනවා. ඒව තමයි අපි විමුක්තියට අරයි යන්නේ. නැතුව මේ හිත සල්සුම් කර ගැනීම නෙමෙයි.
Because he feels pain. He has anger. He is struggling with his mind. All those things will help him to be liberated. Not the calming of the mind will not help you to be liberated.
තව නමුත් ලෝකේ පුරා තියෙන චිත්තානුපස්සනාවයි පොත්වල තියෙන්නේ මනස සල්සුම්නාව නිදහස කරලා යනවා කියලා. මම කියන්නේ මනසට ස්වභාවික ජීවත් වෙන්න දෙන්න. මනසට ගැටෙන්න දෙන්න. මනසට ස්ට්‍රෙස් වෙන්න දෙන්න. එතකොට විමුක්තියට පාර මනසම හොයා ගන්න.
Because if you read a script, if you read books, those books will say, by relaxing the mind, by concentrating the mind, doing chittanupassana in that manner will take you to liberation. But I say it is not. If you be with pain, if you struggle with your mind, and if you let the mind to be in those natures, your mind itself will find its own path to liberation.
පොත්වලට මනස ගලපන්න යන්න එපා. පොත්වල වචන වලට මනස ගලපලා මනස තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ. ඔබේ අත්දැකීම් වලට මනස අහුරා ගන්න පුළුවන්.
Don't compare your mind with the things on books. You cannot match those words with the experience that you get in your mind. Your mind itself can find its own liberation.
අනුතරම අපේ වචන වලටවත් ඔබේ මනස ගලපන්න යන්න එපා. ඒක මේකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක පොඩි උදව්වක් විතරක් කරගන්න. එහෙනම් ඒ වචන වලට ඔබේ මනස කම්පයා කරන්න යන්න එපා.
Even do not compare your mind with the words that we utter. It just use it as a help, but let your mind do the task by itself.
මට ඔබේ ලොකුම දුර්වලතාවය වෙන ඔබ මේ වචන පොත්වල වචන දැඩිව අල්ලගෙන.
So the main weakness that I can see in yourself is that you are too much attached to the words in books.
ඔබේ නිදහස ඔය කිසිම පොතක නැහැ.
Your liberation is not there in any of those books.
ඒ වගේම නිදහසේ මාර්ගයවත් නැහැ.
Even your path to liberation is not there in any of those scripts.
ඒවැ තින්ත විතරක් තියෙනවා.
It contains only ink.
Thank you, Bante. So, yeah, I think what I understood from what you said was that maybe I'll keep observing the mind. Is that okay to be observing the mind as best as I can? Because if I don't even do that, then I don't think my wisdom will grow, right?
ඔබ කියපු දේ මම වටහාගත්ත විදිහ හරිනම් මම ඔබ අදහස් කරන ඒතර මම මනස නිරීක්ෂණය කරමින් හිටියොත් ඇත්ත මොකද මම ඒකවත් කළේ නැත්තම් මගේ ප්‍රඥාව අවදි වෙන එකක් නෑ.
ඔබ මනස නිරීක්ෂණය කරොත් කොහොමවත් ප්‍රඥාව අවදි වෙන්නේ.
If you observe your mind, your wisdom will never ever grow.
ඔබ කරදර වලට කැමති වෙන්න.
Be ready and be like and be prepared for difficulties.
ඒව කරදර වලට
don't be afraid of difficulties.
කරදර සොයාගෙන යන්න.
Search for difficulties.
එතකොට ඔබට අවබෝධ වෙනවා.
You will reach enlightenment.
ඔබ කරදර අඩු පාරක් හොයනවා. අපි කරදර වැඩි පාරක් හොයනවා.
You are searching a spiritual path with less difficulties. But we are always searching the most difficult path to reach liberation.
එතකොට ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ මම දන්නේ මම කාලය ගන්න වැඩිද කියලා මේ මගේ last question එක කරන්න. Oh, sorry, I should probably speak in English. So I'll make this my last question, but I don't know if I'm taking too much time. So Bhante, the Buddha said, for example, go to a peaceful environment and then meditate. He did encourage you to sort of be, or don't do bad things, do good things. I mean, he did encourage living a peaceful life, right? I mean, because you were saying, for example, it'll just naturally come. You don't have to do much. Even the Buddha, he made a determination. It said, that he sit under the tree for 40, I don't know for how many days until his liberation is done. And then he went through the ascetic practices and all that. He tried this and tried that. I mean, so what I'm trying to understand is where does effort come in to this, and what kind of effort is proper? Or is it that you just don't do anything and it'll just happen? Yeah, that's my question, and I'll make that the last one. Thanks, man.
එතකොට අර බුදුදහමේ ඔය කියවෙන සූත්‍රවල කියවෙන්නේ ඇයි අර සාමකාමී පරිසරයක් ආරණ්‍යයක් වගේ දෙයක් හොයාගෙන යන්න කියලා. එතකොට ඇයි මනස සාමකාමී කරගන්න කියලා උපදෙස් තියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම ඔබ ඔය කියන ආකාරයට අපි උත්සාහ කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැත්නම් ඒ උත්සාහය කියන එක කොහෙදද අපි යොදා ගන්න ඕනේ. මොකද මම දන්න විදිහට ගෞතම බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ අන්තිමට අර මේ මම මෙතනින් නිවන් දැකලා මිසක් නැගිටින්නේ නෑ කියලා ලොකු වීරයක් අරන් වාඩි වුණා කියලා තමයි සඳහන් වෙන්නේ. ඒ උත්සාහය කොහෙදද අපි දාන්න ඕනේ? උත්සාහය දාන්න මේ කියන වචන හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න. You have to give effort to understand these words. මේ මොහොතේ. In this moment. මේ මොහොතේ පස්සේ නෙමෙයි. Not after this. ඒක මේ කියන වචන හරියට තේරුම් ගන්න උත්සාහ කළ. You have to give effort to understand these words. ඔබ නිදහස් වීම සඳහා උත්සාහ නොකළ යුතුයි. You should not give effort to be liberated. මේ වචන තේරුණා කොහොමද නිදහස ඔබ හොයාගෙන එනවා. Because once when you understand these words, the liberation will come to you. ඒක තමයි උත්සාහය කරනවා. That is the way you have to put effort. ඊළඟට ඔබ උත්සාහ කළ යුතුයි ඔබේ ජීවිතය සාර්ථක කරගන්න. Then you have to give effort, put effort to make your life successful. හොඳට සමත් කරන්න අනිත් අයට පරිත්‍යාග කරන්න ඊළඟට ඔබේ යුතුයකම් කරන්න ඔබ උත්සාහ කළ යුතුයි. To do your job, do your education, you have to give effort to do all those worldly things. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔබ කෙලින්ම මහාන වෙන්න උත්සාහ කරන්න. Or if not, you give your effort to become a monk. ඒක බැරි නම් කරන්න. If you can't do that, do the other stuff. ඒක කරන දේ හරියට කරන්න උත්සාහ කරන්න. Do whatever you do correctly. ඊළඟ කාරණාව තමයි බුදුහාමුදුරන්ගේ ගැන යනවා. එතකොට ඔය අපි කොච්චර භාවනා රිට්‍රීට් වලට ගියත් ගෞතම බුදුහාමුදුරු කිසිම භාවනා රිට්‍රීට් එකක් කිව්වා කියලා සූත්‍ර පොත්වල සඳහන් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Now, none of the books, Buddhist scripts say that Gautam Buddha has ever done a meditation retreat. බුද්ධ සාකච්ඡා කරා කියලා සඳහන් වෙනවා. But it always says that he was in a discussion. දේශනා කරා කියලා සඳහන් වෙනවා. He did sermons. ඔය අම්තිසේ වරුදු 6ක් මම සත්‍ය හේවුවා. ඔය විදිහට මම භාවනා කරා, යෝග කරා, නොකා හිටියා. ඒ කිසිවක් මගේ විමුක්තියට උදව් වෙන්නේ. And he reiterated the fact that he meditated for 6 years. He was going through fasting and he did yoga. But none of those things helped him to be liberated. Then he found a new thing. And he discussed it with his followers and made them to understand. And he did a lot of effort. He gave a lot of effort to do that, to understand that. But he advised us, you don't have to put the same effort. ඔබ ගිහින් ඉවර වෙලා රස්සාවක් කරලා කෑම හොයාගෙන බඩගින්න ඇවිල්ලා අයිත් ගාගෙන කනවා නම් අර ඉතින් ඔබ කොච්චර මොකද? Now when your mother served a meal prepared by giving all the effort by herself, by shopping and by purchasing goods, and she prepares a good meal and offer to you, but you reject it and you do a job and you purchase things and you cook for yourself and you are trying to eat it. How useless that is. අපි වෙලා තියෙනවා. අපි කෑම බෙදලා තියෙනවා. ඔබට කන්න විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. ඔබ වෙන හැටි අහන්න එපා. කෑම බෙදලා හැටි අහන්න එපා. බඩගින්න කන්න. We have cooked it. We have prepared it. We have served it. Do not question us on cooking, on serving. If you're hungry, just eat it. ඔබ කෑම දුන්නාම එහෙම කන්න නැතුව අයි ඔබ පොතේ තියෙන කෑම රෙසිපීස් අහනවා. ඉතින් ඒවා උත්තර දෙන්න වෙලා නැහැ. මොකද කෑම උයලා බෙදලා ගෙනත් තියෙනවා. When you have offered you a meal, you're asking about the recipe. We don't have time to answer those kind of questions because the meal has already prepared. So you find the reality by not giving an effort and also by not giving a non-effort.
Thank you, Bhante. Now I understood much better when he spoke about effort in that way. A lot of merits to you, Bhante. Thank you.
Sunanda Thero, we have a number of questions in the chat, as well as there are a couple of people who would like to ask the questions. I wonder whether Theros have time. Yeah, almost like more than.
There are 2 more questions.
Okay. Rosie, you can ask your question now.
Thank you. Earlier, thank you for letting me ask a question. Earlier you said about analyzing your mind. You were answering a question earlier about enlightenment, getting enlightenment, and you said I just wanted to ask how you said to analyze mind, and I wanted to ask how you analyze your mind, and then now when you were to Kanishka, I had another question and I'm a bit nervous and I've forgotten. Oh yeah, I remember. So you said something about experiencing your struggle in your mind, and somehow that will give you wisdom. But in terms of analysing your mind and experiencing, I feel quite familiar with the struggle in my mind. But I don't, in order to, I suppose, be with it and understand it, I like to share it with people, like express it, describe it, put words to it. If I'm writing either to myself or in an email or in a conversation, that seems to help me to, like, is that part of how you analyse your mind? Does that make sense?
Yeah. අහනවා දැන් ඔබ මුලින් ප්‍රකාශ කරා මනස සත්‍ය අවබෝධ කිරීම සඳහා මනස විශ්ලේෂණය කරන්න කියලා. කොහොමද ඒ විශ්ලේෂණය සිදු කරන්නේ? දැන් ඔබ ඊට පස්සේ කනිෂ්කට සඳහන් කරා මේ මනසේ තියෙන මේ මානසික ආතතියත් එක්ක මේ මානසික ස්ට්‍රගල් එකත් එක්ක ගැටුමත් එක්ක ඉන්න කියලා. මමත් ඒ වගේ ලොකු මානසිකව එම ස්ට්‍රගල් එකක් මගේ ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ පිළිබඳ විශ්ලේෂණය කිරීමක් කරන්න ඕනේ.
මෙහෙමයි. දෙන්නෙක්ට උත්තර දෙකක් දුන්නා.
Now 2 answers to 2 individuals.
හේතුව මම වෛද්‍යවරයෙක්.
The reason is that I am a doctor.
ඒතර මම දන්නවා මේ කතා කරන එකට මොකද්ද දෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා.
So then I know what is the answer to be given to that particular person.
ඒක සමහරට ඒ වගේම කෙනෙක්ට උදව් වෙවි තව ඒ වගේ නැති කෙනෙක්ට ඒක යා කරන්නේ කන්ෆියුස් වෙනවා.
So that one particular answer might help to an individual who is similar to that questioner. But if he's not, if his conditions are not similar to that questioner, that answer might not help.
දැන් මම ඔබට කියන්න ඔබේ මානසික ප්‍රශ්නෙත් එක්ක ඔබ කොහොමද මනස විශ්ලේෂණය කරගන්නේ?
So then I will tell you with your own mental struggle how you should analyze your mind.
දැන් ඔබට මේ මානසික ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා ඕනම කෙනෙක් ඒක අයින් කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා.
Now if someone has a problem in his mind, always what we try to do is we try to repel it.
ඒකෙන් තව මානසික ප්‍රශ්න තව නිර්මාණය වෙනවා.
Then it will generate more and more mental trauma inside.
ඔබ බලන්න ඔබේ මානසික ප්‍රශ්නය ඔබ ඉවත් වෙන්න දඟලනවද කියන එක ඔබ තේරුම් ගන්න.
Then you have to understand whether you are also trying to repel your mental struggles.
ඊට පස්සේ ඔබ ඒ මානසික කම්පන උපදින හැටි තේරුම් ගන්න.
Then you have to understand when you try to repel mental struggles from your mind.
What is repel?
Repel means that you are going to get away. You always want to get out from struggles, right? Then you have to understand if your mind is trying to get out from mental struggles, how it creates more and more tension, pressure inside.
ඒතර ඔබට තේරෙවි මේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් අයින් කරන්න යාම තුල කොච්චර අසහනයටපත් වෙනවද කියලා. එතකොට ඔබේ මනස ඒක අවබෝධ කරගත්තාම ඒ අයින් කරන්න දඟලන එකකින් ඉවත් වෙනවා.
So then you will understand how much of pressure that the mind will develop extra by trying to repel already existing mental struggles. When you have that understanding about the pressure developed by trying to repel mental struggles, your mind itself will get away from trying to repel mental struggles.
එතකොට ඔබට ස්වාභාවික ප්‍රශ්නේ ඉතුරු වෙනවා අති විශාල ස්ට්‍රෙස් එක නැති වෙලා.
So then you will be left with the original problem, but the extra gigantic pressure which has been created inside your mind will be diminished. That's enough.
Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, Sylvia has been sending number of questions. I just chose one. Is fear also like a snake to be observed, how it comes out of its hiding and goes back? To just let it be, is that how one can be free of fear?
Can you repeat the question?
Is fear also like a snake to be observed, how it comes out of its hiding and goes back? To just let it be. Is that how one can be free of fear?
බය කියන්නේ අපේ අර මොකද්ද
සර්පෙක් වගේ.
බය කියන එකත් අර සර්පයා වගේම ඉමෝෂන් එකක්ද අපේ මනසට එන. එතකොට අපි ඒක දිහා බලාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේද? එහෙම කරලාද අපි බයෙන් නිදහස් වෙන්නේ?
බය කියන්නේ සර්පයාගේ එක චර්යාවක් විතරයි.
Fear is only one activity of the snake.
බයෙන් නිදහස් වෙන්න බයට බය වෙන්න එපා.
To get away from fear, do not බයෙන් නිදහස් වෙන්න.
බයෙන් නිදහස් වෙන්න ඕන ඒ බය වීමට බය වෙන්න එපා.
If you want to get out from fear, do not be fear of the fear.
උදාහරණයක් නයා ප්‍රේමයක් මුක්කොන.
As an example, the snake will hiss.
ඉතින් ඒක හරිය ඒක වෙනවා.
It happens.
ඒක ගණන් ගන්න එපා.
Do not give much attention to it.
ඔකට බය කියන හැඟීම ඇති වෙන්නේ.
You will develop that emotion of fear.
ඒ හැඟීම ඇති වෙනකොට බය වෙන්න එපා.
Don't be afraid of the generation of fear.
එහෙම එකෙන් නිදහස් වෙන්න.
That is how you escape from that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think I understand. Thank you.
Dr. Chandana, would you like to sum up the session?
හැමදෙනාටම සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක්. කියන්නේ අපිට ආරංචි ගොඩක් මෙල්බර්න් වලින් මේ සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ එහෙට මේ ලොක්ඩවුන් කරලා කියලා. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා මේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හොඳ කාලයක් ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ හිත බලා ගන්න. මොකද අවිනිශ්චිත ලෝකයේ අවිනිශ්චිතතාවය ඒ අවිනිශ්චිත දේවල් සිද්ධ කරනවා. ඒකට ඒකත් එක්ක ඔබේ ජීවිතේ කියලා ගන්න. ඒකත් එක්ක එන්ජොයි කරන්න. ඒකත් එක්ක කලබල වෙන්න.
Now with this situation of lockdown in Melbourne, it has given you a great opportunity to understand more about your life. Do not panic with that. Just observe how your mind reacts to that situation, because it has given you a tremendous opportunity to understand it more. Because all the problems will give you a new message. You just have to read it properly. So I wish you a good day, and I bless you all to have a blissful life.
All right. We have had a wonderful session today, and I would like to thank Venerable Thiththagalle Anandasiri Thero, who is the Chief Prelate of Medbo Savana Meditation Center, Southern Province of Sri Lanka. And also, we would like to thank Reverend Dehiwala Sunanda Thero, who has done a wonderful translation work. And I would like to thank all of you for being wonderful participants and supported us in this discussion. And thank you very much for your participation. And we wish you all the very best during these difficult times. And we are passing unprecedented times, but discussions, I hope that as Theros pointed out, we would be able to sort of, make this situation a learning journey. So thank you very much, and wish you all the best.